Welcome back once again to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Neil C. Hughes, and I'm here to bring you the most engaging dialogues with the tech industry's leaders and pioneers. And today I have a return guest lined up to join us. It's been 18 months since we last had him on the show, and I'm thrilled to welcome back Dan Adika, co-founder and CEO of WalkMe, which is a leader in the digital adoption platform sector, or DAP. Not my words, that's Gartner's. And in today's episode, I want to unravel the world of DAPs, demystify it, and also understand the rise, their transformative impact on organisations, and the role in enhancing employee experience. And we'll also explore how the proliferation of DAP professionals is shaping businesses and making digital user experiences more streamlined and efficient than ever. So if you've heard DAP or digital adoption platforms and wanted to learn about it in more detail, sit back and let's dive into this exciting conversation with Dan. So buckle up and hold on tight, because I'm going to beam your ears all the way to Tel Aviv, where Dan's waiting to speak with us today. So a massive warm welcome back to the show, Dan. For anyone that's missed our previous conversation, can you just remind the listeners with a little about who you are and what you do?
Sure. Thanks for having me again, Neil. So my name is Dan Adika. I'm the CEO and co-founder of WalkMe. WalkMe is a digital adoption platform. And what we do, we provide a platform for organizations to help them to do, I would say, two main things. One, get observability into their tech stack, understanding exactly how their employees are using the application internally, how they're completing business processes, are they getting stuck, everything that companies are doing today is on their computer, right? It's on software and becoming digital. So there is a digital burden, and companies are not aware where they're having bottlenecks, where they're having issues. So on one hand, we're giving them that ability to observe and get the data and insight. And on the other hand, for the end user, the employee that at the end of the day needs to take time off or submit an expense or even do more complex processes, we provide think about it like a GPS experience when we're showing them exactly how to complete everything, like a personal assistant sitting next to them, helping them complete the process. And I do want to explain, we're not showing them how to use the application or the UI. We're explaining them how to complete the business process in their organization, which varies between companies. And so we're creating better productivity, and we're removing completely the digital friction and just allowing them to do their job better.
And there are so many different acronyms in the tech industry. It can be a little bit overwhelming for business leaders. So we're going to be referring a lot to DAPs, or digital adoption platforms. So just to set the scene for our conversation today, can you tell the listeners a little bit more about what DAPs are and also the kind of value that they offer businesses too? Because it's not always about the technology, it's about the value that they bring, right?
Sure. So I would give you a few use cases. So as I mentioned, DAP is digital adoption platform. We're helping the digital employee or the knowledge worker completing those processes. So I would give you a few examples. One, a huge e-commerce, basically having tons of employees, both obviously on the corporate side, but obviously in the delivery and shipping and so on. And based on seasonality, they're hiring a lot of people and they're letting go a lot of people, right? That's the business at the end of the day. Now, dealing with, I would say, employee termination can be very challenging. Depends on the country, depends on the state, depends on so many different things. And every time, think about the HR department, terminating that employee needs to send them their severances and so on, healthcare insurance. Imagine that they're doing something wrong. They're not putting the right information and they're doing some mistake in the HR systems. And in some companies, it's like 4 or 5 different applications where the HR manager needs to go and do the offboarding of the employee. One, the employee has a very bad experience. They were just let go. They're not getting their money on time and so on, which at the end of the day leads to lawsuits. And so the company is losing a lot of money and the employee is getting affected as well. With WalkMe, for example, that company implemented WalkMe on that process of boarding employees. And every time someone made a mistake, WalkMe intervened in the middle and made sure the process is being done correctly. So we reduced 15% errors to almost zero, saving a lot of money to the company because there is no lawsuits. And obviously the employees are not affected and their experience is amazing. Give you another example. A big telco in the US. You go in, I don't know if you're experienced to go to a telco store, you're coming in, a nice employee come to you and say, hey, with a tablet, what do you want? Do you want to buy a new phone? Do you want a new SIM? Do you want to increase your data package? To train those employees took that company on average 8 weeks. The lifespan of that employee within that company was around 7 to 8 months. Usually college grads and so on go and do that work for a short period of time between college, between universities, and so on. So imagine you're investing 2 months to train an employee to work for 6 or 7 months. This is a huge waste of time. Implemented WalkMe, you come in on the tablet, you have WalkMe. Now the customer is like, hey, I want to increase my data package. They click and WalkMe show them exactly what to do. You don't need to use training. So one way to I would say illustrate it, think about your life without a GPS. Every time you want to go somewhere, you open a map, right? So WalkMe is like a GPS for the employee, but the digital world is endless. It's not like the physical world. There is no streets and roads and so on. So WalkMe needs to analyze all the systems all the time and understand all the paths and all the business processes and give the company basically data about what's going on. So the value is triple win. Obviously, huge win for WalkMe, huge win for the customer of ours, and huge win for their employees.
And you mentioned two things there, two huge problems. One, the staff turnover, and also a lot of companies been letting a lot of people go recently. And one of the things that I have noticed, though, is the rise of DAP professionals are in huge demand at the moment. And can you expand on that demand and also their role in an organization? Because there seems to be something happening here.
Sure. So again, let's think about what it was before WalkMe, right? Before WalkMe, you needed to write a lot of documentation, send your employees PDFs, do one-on-one trainings, and so on and so on. So there is new technology. There is a better way to engage your employees. So a lot of those employees that were in change management, that used to be instructional designers, that used to be business process analysts, and so on, basically did a transition to be digital adoption managers, or DAP professionals, as we call them. And instead of doing the old ways of consuming or basically transferring knowledge, now they're building WalkMes, and they look at the data, they go and build the right guidance and automation for their employees and reiterate on it. So basically, we just gave them a huge opportunity to have a bigger impact for their organization. And we're seeing a lot of what we call DAP heroes in those organizations, able to impact real bottom line, P&L wise, for a 50,000 or 100,000 people organization by using WalkMe.
So where would you say a DAP fits in, let's say, a digital transformation initiative? And why are they also increasingly being seen as a big key to unlock the ultimate employee experience, which again is another big topic right now, isn't it?
Sure. So I would say there's so many different use cases. One is there is a huge movement from on-prem to cloud. It takes companies, think about hospitals. I don't know if you have a sneak peek on the hospital employee screen when you go there. Usually it's old systems. It's old systems that running on mainframes or on-prem, and they're moving to new systems. And in hospitals, for example, the processes are very, very much complex, and you can get things wrong. So as they're doing that migration, how are you going to show people what to do, how it's going to look like in the new system? This is where a company going through a massive transformation, and WalkMe is there to help. Another big thing is compliance. As I said before on the offboarding, how are you making sure people are doing the process correctly. So every company having a massive transformation on a quarterly basis. Every time it's different department, and the world is keep changing. Now you have AI coming in. You have your employees using generative AI almost everywhere. How you control it, how you make sure they're using the right tools, how you create compliance around it, and so on. WalkMe can help, because WalkMe can tell you which tools they're using and how they're using it and what's the right way to do it. They can help them with prompts. They can help them with so many different things. So at the end of the day, the way we're thinking about WalkMe, we are a layer between the end user and the application. So we're understanding what you need, and we help you achieve it on top of a digital interface.
And as we further double click down into the world of DAPs, I'm curious, do you have any other examples of how a DAP could, let's say, radically transform an organization through better decision making? Because again, data-driven decision making, another big topic, right?
Yeah, and to be honest, a lot of organizations are not data-driven. A lot of organizations have herd mentality, which they're just doing what the rest are doing. And I know they're paying some companies to help them migrate or change and so on. And they're not measuring anything. They're not getting feedback from their employees. They're not improving. They're just, checking the box. And when they're checking the box, obviously the experience look like that. At the end of the day, look at an employee experience versus a customer experience. Customer experience is the best. You have the best UI, the best click-through rate. Everybody look at conversion rate. For the employees, try to do expense reports. Good luck. 50 fields, no one care about it. And we're saying that needs to stop. If you want to retain top talent, if you want to actually improve the productivity of your employees and become a good employer, you need to think about those things. And then we discover there is a real problem, because unlike your product, the tools and applications that you deliver to your employees are third parties that you buy. So you don't have the same visibility. So WalkMe and the fact that we're a layer actually allowing those companies, let's say a CIO, get one dashboard with all the application, with all the behaviors, with all the workflows, with all the fun, understanding exactly how the employees are experiencing those digital assets. And I will tell you that on average, an employee using 7 to 13 different applications on a single day. And by giving them the data, they can decide exactly where to focus. Do they need to change the process? Do they need to do more enablement? Do they need to add more automation? Maybe they need to deprecate a certain thing, and so on and so on. So by giving them those eyes on what we call observability, we're making, I would say, legacy CIOs to become the new modern CIO that can actually go and drive change. And we had a big campaign a few years ago, Billboard, Subway. We call it CIO, your legacy is away. Because instead of being a project manager that just check the box, you're becoming someone that can really move the needle and change your company trajectory. And companies that won't be not make decision based on data, that's not going to transform, we're just gonna left behind. And we're seeing how many companies are staying in the Fortune 500. It's changing rapidly. You need to innovate. You need to make sure that you're looking at those business processes. And we're the platform that provides it. And we believe that in a few years, every company will have that. WalkMe or not, I'm putting that aside, but they will have a digital adoption platform. There's just no other way to do it.
And so many businesses get distracted by the shiny new tech solution and lose sight of the problem, and they end up overcomplicating strategies and creating friction points rather than making life easier. So can you share your vision for simplifying digital user experiences to ultimately make them effortless and efficient from the outset? Because that's got to be the ideal destination.
Sure. And your problem that you described, is actually split to two. One, there is a new shiny object. Two, today, every employee can go and start a trial on a system without even the employer know. So you have this tech sprawl that coming, one, from the organization, but two, it's coming from the actual employees trying different tools. In WalkMe, there is 5 applications that we saw that our employees are using just on project management. But we have one vendor that we're working with, but there is 5 different vendors in our system that people just went and start using it. So obviously, by standardizing it and give you the visibility as the employer and creating automation and simplify the way people are working, you created that coherence experience across all your tech stack. Therefore, before you buy the shiny object or before you're actually going in and changing a lot of stuff, measure. And as we talked in the previous question, you need to be data-oriented. Once you're data-oriented, you can decide what risk to take and what actually change needs to be implemented. So it's all about the data, and we're seeing more and more organizations taking data approach internally and not just externally with their customers.
And there is so much going on in the tech industry at the moment. And you strike me as someone that's always got their eye on the ball and looking at where technology is going to take us next. So I'm curious, what kind of tech trends excite you at the moment?
So obviously, AI.
Yes.
Regular AI, like everyone else. I'm a programmer by trade and developer by trade. It is amazing, the ability of large language models, the level of, I would say, precision that we got is just mind blowing. I think now it's how you're going to actually make it applicable. I think there is a lot of data privacy issues that people need to think about it. Obviously, copyright and so on and so on. So people really need to think, I wouldn't want WalkMe employees to go and put tons of WalkMe sensitive information in ChatGPT and have ChatGPT changing the language, and then it will be stored somewhere. So I think generative AI will be big, and companies are now going to assess how exactly it's going to be used. I think that companies with unique set of data like WalkMe, because the data that we have is how people are using applications, will be able to train models in so amazing way that we'll see lawyers that are bots, and we will see architects that are bots, and so on and so on. But someone needs to train the bot. Someone needs to have this unique data set. And I think data would be it's already is, but will be the big advantage for companies, and companies that won't obviously figure out their strategy on the AI will probably left behind.
And as we've mentioned there, AI, bots, automation, generative AI, there's just so much going on at the minute. So from all the conversations you're having with your customers, what are the biggest challenges that they're coming to you and asking for help with at the moment? And how are you helping them too?
Yeah, so the bigger thing is compliance, security, privacy. Yeah. We actually had customers that banning I would say public AI. They want everything to sit on-prem or to be, on their own servers or sites. So one of the biggest things we're actually getting is, tell me which AI tools my employees are using and help me drive them to the right tools that I want them to use. So we have CISO, security officers, basically coming to us and say, okay, the CIO wants to know which applications the employees are using, their CRMs or HCM. I want to know which AI tools they're using. So I would say compliance is big right now. And telling employees what they can share and what they know. Like if I want to write a nice email to a customer, yes, AI can help me draft it. But if I want to write WalkMe earnings for Q2, I wouldn't put it in ChatGPT, right? Because it's sensitive information. So employees need to know how to use AI. And again, when it comes to adoption, we are the go-to.
But what about yourselves at WalkMe? What's your big focus this year?
Oh, a lot. Obviously, we're going up market, mainly focusing on large enterprise. We got our FedRAMP status ready, so we can start selling to the U.S. federal government, which is a huge project that we work on. We're working with our partners, obviously our product and getting our product more advanced so we can solve more problems to our customers. But I would say the upmarket motion is probably our main focus for the year. Obviously, we're looking to be profitable next year, so we're working a lot on efficiency and making sure that we have a good operating leverage. We are going to be cash flow positive in Q4 this year and profitable next year. So that's huge because we're doing it on scale and now building a business that's actually generating cash year over year. It's something that wasn't a requirement until 2022. So testing our unit economy and seeing how easy it was for us to get there, that's actually really impressive, and we're going to continue to do so.
Well, it's been a huge pleasure to have you back on the podcast. Before I do let you go, a question I've got to ask, because there seems to be an increasing pressure on each and every one of us at the moment to be in this state of continuous learning and keeping up to speed with the pace of technological change. So I've got to ask, for you personally, where or how do you self-educate? Is there anything you can share with us around that?
Sure. Look, I read a lot online, and I can tell you that ChatGPT is amazing. You can ask anything you want and learn. And I'm just like, I ask and I see certain topics and I go and I learn it. And obviously, there's a lot of online classes. I'm amazed at how much knowledge you can consume online. I'm specifically an autodidact, so I like to read and learn by myself than sit on a class. But there is so many different forums and options to actually go and learn. And I will tell you what happens, actually. The barrier to entry to tech is getting lower and lower and lower, which is amazing. Now with AI, I think that within 3-4 months, you can be a programmer. And with the advancement, English is a programming language. So I think it's going to open so much opportunity for people.
Wow, that's incredibly exciting. For anyone listening wanting to explore the world of digital adoption platforms in more detail, or more specifically, WalkMe, what's the best starting point for everything? And equally, if they wanted to contact your team, where would you direct them to?
Sure. So we have WalkMe University and then the WalkMe Academy when you can learn more and actually register to courses. We even have a job board there when we're connecting people that wants to get into the space with companies that actually looking for digital adoption professionals. So it's all online. It's all in our website. There is tons of information and we can be contacted in so many different ways from our LinkedIn page to or Twitter and so on.
Well, once again, we've demystified digital adoption platforms, or DAPs, today. I love chatting with you about digital transformation, the key to the ultimate employee experiences, and also how DAP can radically transform an organization through better decision making, and also your vision for simplifying digital user experiences to make them effortless and efficient, and also, of course, for mentioning the rise of DAP professionals and their role within an organization. So many big talking points, big takeaways for me, but just a big thank you, Dan, for coming on and talking about it in a language everyone can understand and increasing adoption, hopefully, in the process. So thanks, Dan.
Thank you so much, Neil. Looking forward for the next time.
Once again, I've got to extend my genuine, sincere gratitude to Dan for returning to the show and sharing his insights on the burgeoning field of digital adoption platforms, because I think the potential of DAPs to revolutionize decision-making, transform organizations, and simplify digital experiences is really exciting. And as we all embark on our digital transformation journeys, which is a journey, not a destination, remember that the ultimate key to success lies in embracing these emerging technologies that streamline our work, enhance our experiences, and propel us into this digitally optimized future. But that's just what I think. Please email me now, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram @Neil C. Hughes. Connect with me, send me a DM, let me know your thoughts, ask your questions, I'm an open book, approachable to each and every one of you. And hopefully you'll join me again tomorrow, where another trailblazer of the tech industry or world of business will join us once again. But until then, this is your host, Neil C. Hughes, signing off for today. Please stay curious, stay informed. Remember, every day holds a new opportunity for technological discovery. But more than anything, thanks for listening. And until next time, don't be a stranger.